Hello, friends of the internet.
George
Welcome
W.
to General Nerdcast, episode 42.
Yes.
42?
Yeah, 42.
And we're here again with the Fun Facts Friday with Taylor. I almost said Fun Facts with Friday and Taylor. But here we are. We're going to talk to you about, today, we're going to talk to you about banned games. Some of them, why
Before we
they're
start,
banned.
Bobby, Tyler,
I was getting
Taylor.
to that.
you eventually,
Yeah.
like towards the end of the episode again.
No, I was going to do it
okay.
next. Anyway, we're talking about banned games, why they were banned, and some countries that ban games, and why they banned games in countries that are country-related. About being a country.
About being a country with banned games. Yes.
Having banned games. If you ban games in a country, you're a banned gamer. What?
I don't. Let's move on.
Okay.
Taylor, do you want to get us started?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a bunch of reasons why a game can get banned, which I think we're going to talk about, throughout this episode. And just because a game is banned doesn't necessarily mean that the game itself was bad. It just means that it might not coincide with whatever sort of government view there was at the time, or the prominent religious view.
Yeah.
So the games that I want to talk about, while some of them are very valid reasons for a game to be banned, I'm going to try to bring more interesting, that's a strange reason to ban a game. But as this episode goes on, I think you'll find some of them like, yeah, fuck that game.
Yeah, no, there's a few that I read about
I was
that
going to say,
were...
there's for sure at least one on that list where I'm like, this was a thing that they made?
Yeah.
What in
I wonder
fuck?
if we have the same one on the list.
There's a couple I didn't write down that I'm like, I don't know
You-
if I want to bring that up.
You for sure don't have the one that I was thinking.
Yeah,
Oh no, I might bring that game up then, because this is a bad game. But for the most part, I'm trying to stay away from like Rockstar or GTA type games, at least in my list, because that's a very obvious reason. Like,
yeah, those ones.
why you can see certain countries banning it just based on the violence of it. Then again, I do have some that are based on violence and things like that, but I'm not going to talk about GTA because I feel like that's kind of just a given. Some people aren't going to tolerate that type of game.
Faux show.
And they'll ban it. And my dog's now whining at me.
Aww.
I'm recording. I'm doing something.
I'm doing something.
Doing something.
Come on, guy.
Real quick, one thing that I wanted to talk about with Fact Friday that's not about banned video games.
Oh, he's going off the page. Oh, the script.
Oh no, no scripts. Just kind of so our viewers know, I've known Bobby for a really long time.
I thought you froze there for a second because you
I
stopped
was
moving.
thinking-
I was
my
like,
brain
I was like,
shut down.
oh shit! Did the video just freeze?
But no, so kind of a fact about me and why I'm involved with this is I grew up in a town like 3 hours away from Bob, and where he lives, I'm not going to say it because you're super uber famous and you're going to get people that stalk you, but I'm like 3 hours away from Bob.
So.
And it was the only major city, basically, close to the small town that I grew up in. So I'd go to Reno. Damn it, I said it.
Oh no!
It just rolls off the tongue so easy.
I know, it's fine. I've said it a bunch of times in other episodes. So
Yeah.
So I would go to that one city that I just didn't name a lot. And then when I graduated from high school, I ended up moving there. And that's where I met Bob. And we've been close friends ever since. And then we got married. And then we got divorced. And
that all did
now
kind
I'm
of
paying his
happen.
child support.
Yeah. No, that's mostly true.
Yeah.
Fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't sign paperwork or anything, but we were Facebook officially married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's all you need.
Yeah.
It was for a time, yeah. Anyways, just to put some kind of context of why Bob and Tyler know me and ask me to be part of the show is I go way back with Bob.
Yes, sir.
Bob Alou.
It's all very true.
I've seen him before he could grow a beard, which was 9 days after he was born. I think he started growing a beard.
It's maybe.
Pretty close.
Definitely had
Possibly.
pubes by then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right.
All right, let's get into it. Tyler, you want to go first?
Yeah, you go first. Fill us in on some fun facts about banned games.
Okay, we're gonna jump straight to page 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Because the other ones, it kind of gets progressive. So let's set the context with Mortal Kombat. That is the game that back in the 90s, I think the first one released in like 93 or something like that. That is the game that basically made countries and publishers have to start rating their games, because it was just all arcade games. And then all of a sudden there's this game where you're ripping people's heads off with their spines dangling or pulling their hearts out, things like that. And, you know, a lot of the adults at the time thought that that was going to contribute to real game violence. I remember there was actually this quote of this guy that was being interviewed when they released the Mortal Kombat. And he was like, yeah, you know, it seems like a fun game in the arcade, but I feel like as soon as a person goes out there to actually fight, they're going to think of this game and try to make it a reality. And I was thinking to myself, like, who the hell is going to be fighting someone? Like, wait a minute, fatality, and like grab their head and like,
try to rip it off.
Like, I can understand the hysteria when a violent game like that first came out, especially so early in the 90s. That's just not how games work.
also, how is anybody that strong where they can just pull your head off and rip your spine out with it? Like,
yeah, unless you're the Mountain from Game of Thrones, where you're taking in like 6 trillion calories a day. I don't think that's possible. But so Mortal Kombat was the first game that was officially banned and then unbanned to help establish what the ESRB rating is. I feel like that's kind of an interesting starting point, talking about banned games.
Yeah, no, that's good. Wait, hold on. Fatality.
I can definitely see why that would be one of the big reasons they would start rating and possibly banning games that are going in home, not because of what the interviewee said, but more along the lines of because it was a game that was so gruesome, that was so like robust with its actions to where you have blood flying across the map, across all over the players, and just completely brutalizing
and throwing
them.
Fireballs. Like,
yeah,
I was concerned with my safety if people were going to start throwing fireballs at me.
But I can definitely see why that was one of the big main starts to this.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
They did actually try censoring the game, which I think is most likely what a lot of people grew up with, was the censored version. But again, we're talking back in times when these games are mostly arcade. It's not consoles in your house.
Yeah.
You know, the literal point of an arcade game was so you would lose and pump another quarter in. Like, that's why these games are so hard. That's why even some of the original games like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong, they had like kill screens, right? Where when you get to a certain point, the game's just like, nope, no more. Can't process it. Like, you have to start over. These games weren't intended for replay value in the sense of I purchased the game. They're intended for replay value of give me more money. But so when they put the censored version of Mortal Kombat into these arcades, their sales dropped by like 40-something%.
Oh shit!
Yeah, people are just like, well, it's fun to punch someone, but if I can't rip their head off, like, what's the point?
Who do you mean I can't fatality?
So, that's kind of where I wanted to start. I don't know if we want to snowball this. Tyler, if you have some games that kind of relate to that, I can also look at my list and find something. But
I just more have
that's my list. First fact Friday, besides
first fun fact of the Friday.
Yes.
I just kind of more have a list of games that are probably some of the more mainly banned games. I didn't write down Mortal Kombat, but that is probably that definitely belongs as probably one of the top ones on this list. There's got games like Manhunt, Manhunt 2, Thrill Kill, Reservoir Dogs, Hatred, Super Columbine Massacre, and then Death Race.
Why was Reservoir Dogs banned?
I think it might have been the representation of criminal activities and whatnot, because during my research I actually found out that there are companies or countries, not companies, that are highly against any sort of game that represents any criminal activities or
Right.
criminal organizations. So I think that's one of the main reasons why Reservoir Dogs might have been on the lines of that's too close to being represented as criminal stuff. So
I was going to say fair enough, but I think most of these countries are just squares, but
yeah, you know.
to each their own.
Yeah, the squares are just being too sensitive. Like they wanted to ban, I think it was Modern Warfare 1 or 2 in Cuba because there was the part where you're trying to kill Fidel Castro,
Oh yeah,
but it's like it's a body double.
yeah. That
Whatever Call of Duty game that was, they wanted to ban that game in.
I think it was a Black Ops one.
Oh yeah, it was Black Ops.
Yeah.
It was Black Ops. Yeah.
That ban, I think that ban went through, but it only lasted a couple weeks.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
That's why. Okay, what I mean by try is the fact that it was banned and then they unbanned it.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of games. There's a couple countries where they've banned games and it's lasted like 2-3 weeks or 2-3 months, and then
Right.
they're later like, we're just unbanning it now that something's changed, been censored, or enough of a community uproar has happened to where like, no, we can unban it now. I mean, they're almost rioting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned Manhunt 2, because that was on my list as well. That's exactly what happened with that, is the original release of the game was so brutal and so violent, which it did get released. People have copies of this game, and they had to ban it. I mean, even in the UK, it could not get a rating like, picture like porn, like XXX, like whatever the max adult rating is. Like, you got to be 80 to have some life experiences that are high enough for you to comprehend this game. Like, there was no possible rating within UK's rating system for Manhunt 2 when it first released. And so every other copy of the game got dumbed down. And I think it still got, I don't know what the actual, like, what is it? It starts with an A. It's like some adult rating. It's above
like
MA. or
adult
whatever.
only.
Yeah,
or,
adult. It's AO.
Yeah,
adult only.
Yeah.
So they ended up re-releasing it as an adult-only game, which actually makes copies of Manhunt 2 that are the original ones without censorship very valuable. So if you have one, you can't sell it because they don't allow the sale of it online.
Yeah.
It's
But
gonna
you have it.
It's gonna be like a very private type sale, and you could still get snatched from it or whatever.
They're gonna snatch you from your home.
But I mean,
I kind of picture like rich folks lining up at an auction, and they have some 5,000-year-old mirror or something, and they're auctioning that off, and then some famous queen's jewel necklace, and then the next one comes up, and he's like, and we have the original release of Manhunt 2. We'll start the bidding at $10,000, $10,000, go ahead, $20,000, $100,000, and just goes up like
It just goes crazy.
people just have to have it.
I don't even know what it is, but I want it. Oh, wait. I don't even know what it is, but I want it.
yeah,
So
I'm sure there's a much larger list out there of banned games, but this is one of the ones, because a lot of these games are a lot more brutal or based around such grotesque actions or whatnot that a lot of countries go on to just banning them or getting rid of them in any way they can. Like, I think very few of these games have actually made it back onto the market in most countries. So
Yeah.
um,
Most games that are banned are usually only... What?
Huh? What?
Oh,
What?
I was gonna say, most games that are banned are usually only like temporary bans till they get edited out, and then they get re-released as a super dumbed down edited version.
yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess I get it.
I guess. I mean, if I have to understand.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna force me to understand why you're doing this, then I guess.
Well, keep in mind, at least as far as I could tell, most of the games that were banned are like somewhat bigger titles. Not all of them. I've got a couple that aren't. And they were banned during the time frame of people really trying to figure out what the impact of gaming is, because I'm sure there's a lot of indie games now that are just super fucked up that don't get banned because they don't have hype and they aren't being pushed by big publishers. But these other games that were banned at the time is because, they were, I don't want to say big household names, but a lot more people knew about them. So that was when games were were games, entertainment. They were for the kids, and a lot of parents were worried. Where now games have kind of transitioned more into, well, is it art? Is it just an expression? And if so, like what sort of boundaries can you put on it? Like a lot of simulators, how do you ban something that's a simulation of something?
Yeah.
You aren't necessarily charging money for, whereas, like Manhunt 2 and a lot of the games that you listed, these are titles that people are actually trying to profit from.
Yeah.
So,
Fair enough.
and it seems
Maybe.
like Australia and Brazil were like the two main ones that I could tell that banned a lot.
Yeah,
I was gonna
Australia's...
say, Australia's always been known for banning the shit out of games. They ban a lot of
It's
games.
so weird. It's like Australia's such a rugged country. You figure they'd be like, fuck no, it's not going to hurt me. Like,
Put another shrimp on
I
the
got
Barbie.
6 scorpions in my bed right now.
Yeah.
The game's not going to bug me, but they're like, no, I don't know. That's a little sensitive.
That might cause you to want to do some rash stuff. I'm getting rid of all these snakes and spiders in my house. I'm doing rash stuff enough. Maybe I just don't have time to play a game since I'm getting rid of all these.
Yeah. That's why
So
they
they just
ban
want
it
their games
because
to be really mellow, like back massage simulator. Back, and there's nice soothing music. You're like, well, all right, yeah, I can do this.
and I don't feel violent. Or how
Yeah.
Australian people talk.
Yeah, I had a
so-
horrible accent too.
Yeah.
Another country that's pretty big. This is one of the ones where it banned them for a while, and then... Actually, no, this country, I think they have done bans and a lot of unbans, but a lot of the banned ones, it's the United Arab Emirates. I'm probably saying that wrong. They've done a lot of bans,
That's all right.
but of only physical copies. They haven't done, in most of the bans, it's just been the physical copies. All the digital copies have still been purchasable, which is kind of weird.
That almost defeats the purpose of banning anything at all.
Yeah, kind of. But we also...
You're a PC player, not a console player like me.
Uh-oh.
But they also aren't fully 100% confident on giving the exact reasons. Confident's not the right word, but they don't give 100% reason of why they're banning it. It's all kind of just speculation on why this one's being banned or that one's being banned,
Right.
and a lot of them were for sexual presentation in the game or whatnot, or some games that involve past events or whatnot. But this is another area where a lot of games end up getting banned, at least for several months. Some of them indefinitely, at least as long as it's a physical copy.
Yeah, when I was doing research before we talked, you bring up a good point that a bit of what I read was saying that they basically just banned them from major retailers,
Yeah.
which would be the physical copy of it.
Yeah.
So they're not necessarily shipping it to the company or to the country, but you can still get it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to have people kicking down your door at 3 a.m. for playing, Postal or something.
Yeah.
No,
Couldn't you use a cat's butt as a silencer in that game?
a cat's
Maybe.
what?
A cat's butt? Couldn't you put a cat on your gun and use that as a silencer? Wasn't that Postal?
I have no idea.
It might have been.
I don't think I've
I
ever
think
played
it
it.
was Postal. Or Postal 2, I think they had 2 of them.
It was one of those ones because Manhunt was. I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Postal. Because I can't remember.
Yeah,
seeing
Manhunt
it
was
in time.
more serious, much more serious violence, where a game like Postal was I don't mean to demean the seriousness of killing someone, but if you're using a cat as your silencer, that's a lot easier to be like, okay, this game isn't as serious as
Yeah.
basically the snuff porn that was, Manhunt 2, where it was just very vivid
Yeah.
murdering people.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, using a cat butt as a silencer is more of a joke.
Yeah.
Could you imagine
I wonder if
somebody
anybody
actually?
cosplayed as a character from Postal with a fake rifle and a cat on it, and they're just like, I hope someone gets this.
Yeah.
Someone takes a picture with me.
Could you imagine walking through with the rifle and the cat butt? It's like, no one understands me.
That's what we should cosplay as next year, Bob.
We should. We should go to Anime Expo and do that.
It's just cosplay as the most ridiculous postal shit. I got dibs on Catboat Silencer. If that's a real thing, we could totally do it.
It could just be a
If
random
that's a
thought.
I got dibs on it. If it's not a thing, I still got dibs on it.
Yeah, I'm still doing it. I don't give a fuck.
Oh. Yeah.
All right.
So one, we've talked about pretty valid reasons, murdering people mostly as a valid reason to ban a game.
Violence or sexiness. Being too
but-
sexy.
Denmark
Denmark.
and EA Sports MMA
Oh, okay.
because around the ring and whatnot, they had a lot of energy drink placement, and energy drinks are illegal in Denmark. So they said, no, you can't have that game. Here, if you do, you have to change what the arenas look like. And EA Sports was basically like, nah, we're not going to do that because that would be an unrealistic representation of what MMA is. So Denmark tried to push back and be like, hey, we want your game, but you just have to change out all of these energy drink logos.
Yeah.
And EA Sports was like, nah, we're good. We're still making money.
Well,
So
yeah.
I thought that was a really interesting reason to ban a game was for an energy drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. My biggest thing with that story is the fact that EA was such assholes about it. Like, it would have taken them an hour of programming to get rid of that. I mean, they didn't even have to change it. They could have just gotten rid of it and been like, well, whatever. But then they're like, well, that doesn't represent our MMA world, so we can't have it. And like, you're just being a stuck-up prick about your game, and like that's stupid. I don't even blame Denmark.
I think when you're EA and you're pumping out as many games as you are, and you're already like a gajillionaire, you're like, oh, we don't really need to. I mean,
we
we have to
don't.
pay a couple of programmers and whatever.
Yeah, we don't need your couple $1 million. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things is with EA and MMA, they could have a marketing contract with energy drinks and whatnot. Just like,
Yeah.
well, we would have to find a way to edit it to where it's not fully advertising, but we'd have to keep it in. I'm not saying EA couldn't or just wasn't being like, I don't know, pompous in a way of, nah, we're good. But that could be one of the reasons behind it is, well, we still have to market it. It's one of the things we made in the contract when we agreed to have it in the game or represented and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
They could have worked it out with the energy drink companies with marketing towards Denmark, but it may have been way too long of a process to do that. So, but that definitely is one of the more interesting reasons. Like, it's not a reason you're going to see pop up in every country of some sort of marketing thing.
That's for sure.
I kind of pictured two different ways that they could do it. Picture just like the background crowd, right? How it's typically only like 3 sprites or 3 models for a character that they just, copy and paste all around and they all move around the same. And they just are all holding like a little energy drink background. But the arena's fine. Or what they could do is, because it might not be EA necessarily, it might be the actual fighters that have the contracts with these energy drinks. So instead of like Conor McGregor, he could be like Conor McGregor or something. I don't know. Like,
Conor McGregor.
basically like the Bizarro form.
Yeah.
And then you can still use like realistic representations of them, like all their tattoos are upside down or something.
That would actually be really funny, and I would love that.
Yeah,
I would hunt down the Denmark version just so I could be like, these guys are so dumb. Who gets
Instead of like
tattoos
one of them
upside
having a
down?
beard or like clean shaven, but just have a big palm.
have a big afro on top or something.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious. I'd be way more into that than the original version.
Why doesn't EA hit us up when they're trying to figure out how to like get the best of both worlds?
They'll get there.
One day.
All you gotta do, guys, is literally flip everything about them.
Yeah, just flip everything around. Call him modern Gregor.
AMM fighting.
Hey. Arts mixed martial fighting. Yeah. So that one is pretty interesting. It's weird. The energy
It's just a
drink
weird thing
is
to get caught up on. Like,
yeah.
like, smoking, I guess it's not illegal, but I feel like there's a lot of places that really look down on smoking that kind of just deal with games. Like, can't you just put a notice on it? Like, hey, these guys drink stuff that we consider to be poison for your body. So you still can't buy it, but here's what the game is.
Here's what it looks like. You can't have it. Yeah. What do we got next?
It could be. On the topic of just covering it up, they could have very well done that. I mean, if it wasn't any sort of marketing or contract thing, it could have been, instead of Monster Energy, they advertised fucking whiskey or something. Or you see a character drinking the Monster, it could be they gave him a beer.
Yeah.
Here, after your fight, have a beer. Or something.
There's way too many ways around the fact that EA was just like, no.
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of what it is.
Can you imagine the Denmark edit being like a guy gets done with a fight, right? And he goes back into his corner, and his coach is all amped on him, and he gives him an energy drink, and he looks at it and goes, nah, and just pours it out.
That'd be a good
like,
way
there
to
you
do
go.
it,
You
too.
still get the energy drink in there. Like, he'd hold it up for, like, a frame and be like, no.
and then it just says, this is poison. Like a little thought bubble. Like
That would be great. That would be way funnier.
That would be, just like the upside down tattoos thing.
Take some gas shots or something afterward.
Yeah.
A couple of countries that actually just kind of jump ahead or forward. Couple countries that kind of rarely ban any games is one of them. I thought was really interesting is Ireland. Is along with rarely banning any games, is they had a system to rate games, but they only ever rated 9 games
in the history of ever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
that sounds very Irish. Just everything that you've said.
I guess it was technically 11 because some of the games were in like a game pack. You had this game 1 and then game 2 and whatnot, and they had to be rated. But they do have a rating system. They leave it to the PEGI rating system, the Pan-European Gaming Information. So they just leave it to them to rate games. But they tried rating games, and they're like, because it wasn't like a short month period of rating games. It was like over like a 9-10 year base of this game, and whatnot. And like you rated 9 games over 10 years.
It's too hard. We don't care. Just let somebody else take care of it.
They barely care to like regulate their games. Like, yeah, just bring it in. I don't care. Sure.
Yeah. What's in it? Nothing.
No.
Okay, good.
Oh, okay,
We'll take that.
What's in it? People are raping goats?
Yeah,
whatever.
That's fine.
That's Saturday night.
And then another place that rarely bans any games, they just try to rate it for age groups, which is understandable. Like that's their main focus. If it's adult only, it's illegal to even have it in the house where it's accessible by any youth.
Oh.
It's like
Where?
in Singapore. Sorry, I forgot to say that.
Yeah. That's very interesting. The fact that you can't have an M-rated game, or I guess I don't know.
I guess it's if it's not accessible, you can have it, but by like younger kids, if it's not accessible,
it's like a gun.
Yeah, it's in my. Oh, let me go get my game in my game lockbox.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
and then like kids like sneak alcohol and stuff when their parents are home. They go into their parents' game lockbox and they're like, oh my god, look, Mass Effect.
That's actually one of the games that has been. That was one of the games that was banned, but it's gotten lifted. A couple of those, like Half-Life, Mass Effect, The Darkness, which I can kind of understand on that one. That one was
The Darkness and Half-Life. I get.
Yeah.
Was Mass Effect because they had aliens have sex?
Yeah.
Yes.
No. Yes, but it was more. I think it's either this country or another one, but I don't think it was Singapore actually. But it was because Mass Effect did actually get banned in one country because they had lesbian sex scenes.
Hell yeah.
So
that's a little goofy.
I don't like whoever's running that country.
I can't remember which one it is. I don't think it's Singapore. I think it was.
Don't like. Hold on, I'll just look it up. You keep.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not like anytime I see two chicks kissing, like, fuck yeah!
Boners.
It's like, really? Like, that's so anti-progressive.
Yeah.
Chicks have been kissing, like, on TV forever. Like, I kissed Bob. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Multiple times.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just one of the things that it's interesting. They make it illegal for any youth to buy games that are rated as like M18, which is pretty much.
It was Singapore.
It was?
It was too keen on that scene which featured a human woman and an alien female making out.
Ah.
Hang on, but doesn't Singapore, like, thrive on prostitution?
I don't know.
It might, but they don't want to brag about it.
Yeah.
Like, you can do it, and you can, like, really ruin real people's lives by, like, selling people into a sex trade, but you can't play it.
Okay, so it says Singapore officials
grow up.
and its laws cherish traditional values and ban sensual and sexual interactions between people of the same sex and their representations in media products. That's why it was banned.
That's just
Kind of sounds like a presidential candidate's, like, anti-gay speech.
Yeah. It very well could have been.
Yeah.
We represent traditional values.
Yeah. So pretty much what I was saying was they make it illegal for anyone under the age of 18. We'll just say, I don't know exactly what it is for Singapore, but if the game is rated M18, any youth or youth pretty much is illegal to buy it or purchase it or have access to it. But I mean, as soon as you're of age of consent or whatever it is, you can pick up the game, own it, play it as all you want. And you just have to make sure, essentially, you have a game lockbox or something.
Yeah, you lock it up. Don't let people see it.
Yeah.
I can kind of agree with that, though, with certain games. Like, can you guys imagine how nice League of Legends or, like, Call of Duty would be if little kids couldn't play it?
Yeah, that would be...
Yeah, that's... Wow.
That would increase the community. I do agree on that. Like,
yeah.
I understand some of these reasons, like, that games are being banned, or not banned, but, like, some of the laws of, no, the kid can't get it.
Yeah.
He can't get it. This is illegal. I'll fine you for it, or you'll go to jail for it. Like, I totally get that. I almost wish that was more of a thing in the U.S., but I also... I'm half and half on it.
Yeah.
I feel like the loophole in the U.S., though, is that with some of the games, it's like going to the movies. They only make a parent, like, be there when the transaction is happening.
Yeah, that's pretty
no
much
regulation
what it
afterward.
is.
Yeah, for sure. We too lenient on our babies. Babies watching too many killings.
Too many killings. The children's is killings.
So, what do we got next?
Do
you want to talk about a game? Specific?
I don't know. Do you have any specific games, Taylor?
Yeah. So, one game that I thought was really interesting is that Saudi Arabia actually has banned Pokemon games. I don't know if they still do it, but they had initially banned Pokemon games because I don't know much about Saudi Arabia, but based on this ban, I can make some assumptions. They're probably pretty religious.
Yeah.
So they banned Pokemon because it promoted evolution, which any adult, it seems, who would have played a Pokemon game would be like, no, they're trying to destroy our youth. Like, it's a fucking game.
Yeah.
And they're pocket monsters. Like,
yeah.
They live in a tiny ball.
They also use alternate religious symbols. So basically, the country allows games based on religion, which, to each their own. But that seems like a very sheltered way to have your country ran, I suppose. It just doesn't seem very good if all you ever feed people is one religious view, and then you punish them for trying to play a game that, I'm trying to think, where in Pokemon has there ever been like a religious symbol?
I guess with your phone going off, that kind of reminds me of...
Sorry, I'm very popular.
What about Missing Number?
missing
because he
them.
had, he had all the different forms throughout the alphabet. I don't know if those were ever any kind of religious symbols at all, but
I don't think so.
could
I know
be
that, like with stuff like Giratina, Palkia, Dialga, like some of the symbols when certain Pokemon are summoned are designed based off like older religious symbols. None of them are actually religious symbols. It's not like they literally have a pentagram when Giratina comes up.
That would be metal as fuck, though.
Maybe it's just like a bunch of hidden symbols in like the background art or whatever, or
Yeah.
like
I just feel like that basis to ban Pokemon isn't because someone actually played the game and was like, no, this promotes evolution. They're using religious symbols. I feel like someone just saw a trailer and was like, no, nope, not gonna risk it, can't have it.
Yeah.
It could be. I mean, maybe it could be just possibly someone looked up who like a creator or whatnot and saw that they were religious or whatever. And was like, no, we can't have any of their product here or something like
The
that.
game's
Yeah,
decision was
that's
based
true.
on a loose Google search.
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
Because
we Googled the Pokemon Company, and they're from Japan, so we don't want that shit here.
I mean, it very well
Like-
could be. We don't know who's making the decision to ban the game.
That's true.
Isn't Saudi Arabia like one of the richest countries though? All the oil.
I think so. That
I feel like
sounds
they
right.
have a lot of cultures and a lot of religions and stuff going through them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pokemon. They just hate Pokemon.
That's when they drew the line. They're like, you know what? We'll let everybody in, but no Pokemon. maybe they think it's based on a real story, so they're worried that people are going to go try to hunt down all the Pokemon and catch them all. Because I want
They're
to.
like, wait, these things exist?
Yeah.
We can't let anybody know.
And this kid wants to be the very best, like no one ever was.
Oh, maybe that. I mean, not along the same lines of real Pokemon, but maybe it could be like a representation of enslaving animals or whatnot.
Oh, maybe.
See,
go-
I looked into it, and that didn't have anything to do with it, because I've heard, obviously, like, PETA has made some Pokemon spin-offs where it's,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, it's glorified cockfighting or dogfighting or something. But based on what I could find, that's not what Saudi Arabia cared about. So they probably have dogfighting or chicken fighting. Or,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
as long as neither of them are wearing a cross or a yarmulke.
or whatever religion they're
Yeah.
against. I don't know.
I don't know if it was Saudi Arabia or not. I do remember that Injustice Gods Among Us got banned from a company and they were asked to change the word gods to something else because that represented that there was a possibility of multiple gods, and on the side of religion where the country was like, no, we don't want that. Like they wanted it to be I can't remember what they wanted them to change it to, but it was essentially it was essentially something along the line of strong people among us or something like
Injustice, spaghetti monsters among us.
Spaghetti monsters.
But I mean, that is another reason that they do get banned is a lot of these loose reasons of no, it could be religious. No, it is a possibility to represent a religious thing or have the word gods, which I mean, that wasn't the way they were meaning it, but I mean, it is what it is on that. I don't really have anything else on Saudi Arabia, or I'm not sure if you do.
Not Saudi Arabia in particular.
Is there any other one you wanted to
I just think it's, you have to picture like who's actually in charge of banning these games and how important it actually is to their country. Like, you wonder if it's like some dude that's actually higher up in their government that literally has to screen games, or if it's like the cousin of a cousin intern that's like trying to get involved, and they're just like, why don't you just figure out what games we can allow? Like, we're going to focus on the big stuff, but that's something that you can decide.
So
Or if there's actually like votes on it, if there's like a panel of people that see it, and they all give a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and it would just be really interesting to find out more, which I haven't had time to research, but just to find out more exactly about how each of these countries decides what games are banned. Obviously, we know the reasons why, but who decides and how they decide like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just looking into the Injustice thing you were talking about. It was the
Yeah.
United Arab Emirates.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, they banned it because the word gods.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of these religious bans, or even some of the media ones, is due to media laws of what they're allowed to even show on TV or
Yeah.
That's a good
whatnot, because they can't advertise a game that shows a bunch of blood or violence or has a religious thing that the media isn't allowed to show, like their news
Right.
or the TV shows or anything like that, or movies and whatnot.
That's a very valid point.
Which is also another interesting topic of banned movies because of these same reasons. Like what
Yeah.
movies have to be edited so they can be shown in different countries and whatnot.
Have you guys actually looked up some of the edits for movies that have been banned and like what parts they actually edit?
I haven't, but I was just thinking about it. I was like, that'd be kind of worth watching. Maybe.
I've seen a couple brief ones, and it's really ridiculous, some of the stuff that they like have to cut and how they cut it, and it's like, well, it doesn't really change the context of what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of eliminated the scene. Obviously, that's much more subjective just to the ones that I've personally seen, but
Well, it's like when they censor anime. Have you seen all the Dragon Ball censors that they've done? Like some of them are ridiculous. You're like, okay, that was. Why did that change? Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. no, it's interesting, and it's kind of tough understanding, here in America. Maybe if someone from another country was making a video like this, they would totally understand why something was banned. Where there's very few things that have been banned here in terms of video games.
Yeah.
That haven't been banned elsewhere. Speaking of,
Aha.
uh-huh,
Good segue.
it was unintentional, but it worked. Have you guys ever heard of the Guy game?
Yeah, I have heard of that.
The guy? Game?
Yeah.
The Guy game, yeah.
The Guy game. So it's a trivia game. But basically, as far as I could tell, the reason why it was banned is because they filmed girls showing their boobs, kind of like Girls Gone Wild, and they got into the same legal issues as Girls Gone Wild, where they would film these girls, post their tits in the video game, and then the girls would later come forth and be like, "Oh, I was underage when that happened."
Yeah.
So it looks like a really, really douchey game to begin with, and you kind of wonder what like the team of builders looked like if it was all dudes with rockstar hats and tribal tattoos, not to stereotype, but there's like, dude, let's make a game where you ask a question, if you get it right, you see some tits.
Okay, Chad. Cool, Chad.
All right,
Chad.
Yeah, sounds sweet. But that's one of the few games that I found that was actually banned in the United States, which obviously because we have the 18 and up rule,
Yeah.
so you can't show a 17-year-old an 11-month tit, but you can show an 18-month or 18-year-old tit.
True. These are just facts.
Yeah. Yeah,
Facts.
I did read that one. It got under a lawsuit by one girl particularly. It had a bunch of stupid things. It's well, you can have it had a bunch of different modes to the game where you answer questions in a speed mode, and all you get is blurry images until you get past the round. Then you can go replay it, and then you get the real images and whatnot. The game was, I think it was only out for a couple months, and then it got banned and had to recollect all the copies and destroy them.
Yeah.
So
That's
it did
fun.
not last very long. I'm sure there's still a couple floating around out there, but it was it was in the early 2000s that I think it came out, 2002.
Back before people
2000.
realized they could just look that up online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't need to answer questions. I wonder what would be more valuable, an original copy of Manhunt 2 before they censored it, or an original copy of the Guy game.
I would go
What's
with-
more rare? Because I'm thinking of Magic the Gathering cards, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
How it's the Black Lotus, right? Isn't that the most rare card?
Yeah.
So is there a Black Lotus of those games where there's people trying to buy and sell them for thousands of dollars, or are they just really obscure and really bad games?
That'd be a fun thing to look into as well, is to see which one of these games that got censored or recalled and destroyed, which ones are worth the most.
I have the feeling Manhunt is worth more than the Guy game.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, but the Guy game shows boobies.
Boobies.
Yeah, real boobies. So
I think it was actually pretty bad graphic movies, but yeah.
it's like Super Nintendo.
And then the last one that I have, which I think might be one of the same ones that we looked up, and I don't know if we want to discuss it, but I did.
You can throw it out there and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'll let you know if it's the one that I'm thinking.
Does
Then
it-
I don't really want
Does
to
it
talk about
have to do with being a sexual predator?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page, and this is just a horrible game that should.
That's a fucked up game.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
this game should have never been put out. Should have never
I
been made.
literally watched some Let's Plays of it, and like someone paid money to build that. Someone paid money to develop that.
Yeah.
Someone paid money to buy it. And not only is it a bad concept for a game, but the gameplay just looks horrible. Like
Yeah.
it just looks so boring.
Yeah.
Being a sexual predator is boring as fuck. No, like,
I hope that's what being a real sexual predator is like. Is you just get shut down all the time, and it's a lot of sitting there not succeeding.
Yeah,
But so that was the only other one that I had.
that game is a definite should have been banned as soon as it was published.
it should have been terminated
Thanks,
when the
Japan.
guy. Yeah, like the person came up with it, and he was like, "All right, I got this idea for a game. Now hear me out. Don't shut me down yet." And he's like, "Get the fuck out of my office." Like,
Yeah, and then he gets shut out of the office, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna start a GoFundMe.
yeah, right.
Probably would
Like,
have worked somehow too.
Someone funded that. Someone thought that game was a good idea.
Yeah, it's not.
No, that was a horrible decision.
Yeah,
The good news, though, is that one of the endings, and I'm really not going to go too in depth, but one of the endings, the dude dies. So
That's good.
well, I guess light at the end of the
Yeah.
tunnel.
yeah, he gets stabbed a bunch.
Ah.
So that's cool.
Yeah. Okay.
It's still not all glorious.
Yeah.
It's like, you
That's
can
how-
release that part of the game.
That's probably how all the endings should have gone.
Yeah, give me the stabbing simulator portion of it. Let me stab sexual predators. I'll play that for a couple hours.
Yeah. At least. Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, I just have, like, the US won't release any games that are adult only. Like, that's what they get rated at. I don't think we ban too many games unless they are super grotesque, because I think, like, Postal and Manhunt were banned for a while. They might still be banned, I don't entirely know. Then Venezuela is the first country to completely ban violent video games and any sort of making, distribution, selling, rental, ownership, or exhibition of it. Like, I don't even think you're allowed to play a violent video game without getting arrested or fined or anything in Venezuela.
That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if, like, the result of you playing a violent game is people kicking down your door and arresting you violently? Like, no violence! You're not allowed to! You're coming to jail!
You're thinking
See
about
what violence gets you?
You see what violence gets you? More violence. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but that's really funny. Yeah, I mean, that's a very extreme ban. That one happened. That's got put in place in 2010, like in March 3rd, and that's a long time for in the past 7 years, not a single violent game in like any sort of violence. Like you could. What kind of violence are they talking about? Are they talking all physical violence and whatnot?
If you just look at the list of games that I have right there, like all of the
move this
games,
balloon.
none of
I might
those
actually
games
pull this
are
up.
allowed in fucking Venezuela.
Yeah.
Not even the
Like
Adventure
poker.
Time game, because you fight like things in the game that you have to kill. Like that's violence.
You could play Farmville or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe they have the back rubbing simulator from Australia.
Oh, Mario Kart 8 you're not even allowed because you throw things and just blow up cars and stuff.
Yeah, see, that's what I was wondering. Like, what kind of violence is acceptable? Is like
Like, yeah,
violent language even acceptable? Like if a game,
I'm gonna
like,
kick your
if,
ass.
If it's like that lawyer game that I don't understand, like where they're
Phoenix Wright?
Yeah, Phoenix Wright, where people are arguing in court, is that one even allowed?
That's a good question. I don't know.
It's just
I don't know how hardcore their ban is.
yeah.
That's funny though, because like if I just look at my list of games over there, none of those games would be allowed.
Yeah. Not
All of
even
them have some
Sonic?
kind of violence. What?
Where are you
Not
finding
even-
this list of like specific video games for Venezuela?
Oh, we're not finding a list. We're just kind of looking at the games that he owns
Oh, yeah.
right now.
The games that I own that I have there.
Oh,
My list, my games.
I thought you had like a specific list of games
No.
that were like
No,
Venezuela doesn't want to play.
No, it's just the ones that like I own that are sitting like 6 feet from me that are like I would be arrested for. Like none of those games are legal. Not even like probably Atari, my Atari Battlezone. Like I doubt that game's even allowed because you're battling
yeah.
tanks. Like
old arcade games would
Yeah.
have to be like exported out of the country or destroyed.
yeah, like
That
Yeah.
would be intense.
dude, I bet a little Venezuelan kid would pay heck of money to play Overwatch.
Oh yeah, probably.
What if they do that in Venezuela instead of like doing drugs or get drunk? They have like these underground video game venues.
Dude, I bet they do. Like
You
Oh,
just
well,
come in
yeah.
and you're like, hey man, you want to play some Mario? Jump on some mushrooms.
you want to jump on some Goombas, man?
Yeah. But I don't know, man. It seems a little intense. You got something a little more mellow? Okay.
I got Barney's
How about,
Adventure. You smashed at least 3 butterflies.
What's some Minecraft, dude?
Some
Yeah, I bet Minecraft's not even allowed because you have the
You have to
the spiders and stuff.
spiders, yeah, wolves and whatnot. You
Yeah.
can burn down forests in that
Yeah.
game. I mean, that's
That's
half
pretty-
of what I do.
Yeah, that's. This is why I don't play games with you.
This is why I love simulators, because you could have a forest burning down simulator.
So yeah, I mean, that's
The future of VR. All you have is a match. Just like, yeah, there we go. And Smokey will come out and just start waving his finger at you. It's a game over every time. There's never an appropriate way to burn down a forest.
It's never. There's a lot of truth to that. There is never a good way to burn down a forest.
Actually, so here in Mammoth, there was some signs that this is just me being stupid and thinking everything is a joke. But so what they do is they go through during hot summers and they'll collect a bunch of dead trees and they'll cut them down and they'll put them into little piles. And then during the winter, when there's snow all around them, they'll burn them so they don't spread to create forest fires. But they always put up a little sign that says prescribed burn. And I was just thinking like of a way that you could insult someone like that's being really dumb. Like, no, that's a prescribed burn. Like, you got to bring them.
That would only catch on in Mammoth. Oh, dude, you just got prescribed burned.
Like you're at some doctor's office, right? And you're like, I don't know, talking about a bunch of girls that you banged and you're getting a check for an STD or something. It's like, guess what? You got AIDS. That's a prescribed burn. Boom! Like, quit sleeping around.
That's pretty good.
Well,
I don't know. I guess the only thing I really want to talk about is in Japan, because of all places, Japan has like the craziest games and the weirdest things and all this crazy stuff. And this first one I get, they edited Fallout 3 because
because of the nukes.
yeah, the power of the atom. They took that quest out, so you couldn't either nuke or save Megaton City. It was just gone. That quest was gone. And then they totally got rid of the Fat Man, the mini nuke launcher, and then they changed the name of it
Yeah.
to a Nuka launcher.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of funny. And then they banned Resident Evil 4, Call of Duty Black Ops, Bulletstorm, Gears of War 3, Dead Island, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and that one game that we said that we're not going to talk about. They were edited for excessive violence. Like,
Wait, they made it and then banned it?
I don't know who made. Yeah, or it was edited. I guess didn't ban it, but
How can you edit that? What would you do? That would just become a stabbing simulator.
I was going to say they just have the stabbing simulator.
Or like, I'm just going to ride on a train simulator
Yeah.
and look at people. Like,
Right on the train simulator.
how do you edit?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They turned it into a compliment simulator. Like, hey, your blouse looks very nice. Thank you. Arigato.
Yeah, and then like that's it. Game over. You win.
Yeah, you were very polite. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that are based or not based that are banned in a lot of countries just based on poor representations or atrocities that have happened. Obviously,
Yeah.
Games like Wolfenstein or whatever, Germany doesn't want swastikas in. There was what was it? Kind of like a
Oh, sorry. Genital jousting in New Zealand. That was banned in New Zealand. I feel like for obvious reasons.
There was one, I forget who makes it now. I was going to talk about it. But basically, it was set in Mexico, and it had very realistic, real-world Mexican cities that you would fight in, and it was basically like armed forces killing Mexican citizens, and the government was like, no, this game's really insulting. We don't want that here.
Yeah.
Like, you're like Trump and making all Mexicans seem like rapists and drug dealers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
There is a lot of that. I agree. When I was reading that list for Japan, like they did it for the relationships and whatnot to not upset South Korea and whatnot, and Homefront was definitely one of the big ones. I'm like, yeah, I definitely understand.
Yeah, Homefront.
One of the ones I was trying to remember, like what they were like, what the connection was like Rising Gear Revengeance or whatnot. I was like, I can't remember everywhere that game took place, like all the places they went to. Oh, hello, puppy.
Oh, hey, Ghost.
But I'm sure there's enough representation. They're like, yeah, we can't do that. That could cause conflicts or whatnot just for people playing it. Just because that was one of the games that took place in a bunch of different countries, so that might be more banned in a lot more places than
Was it
thinking.
Was it Homefront where they banned it because they said it was a threat to national security because they had like real world locations?
I think so.
There was a couple that I read that were like that.
It probably was because Homefront. Well, I think most of it took part in the United States in the gameplay, but it was solely based off being invaded from, like, Korea. I can't remember which one, but yeah, I think it did have a lot of real world locations. And one of the other, this actually reminds me of the movie got banned for what were those two guys who played it? I can't even remember the name of it, but it was the one where they go to Korea to take out Kim Jong-un with
the interview.
The interview, yeah. That one had a bunch of bans and like wasn't supposed to be shown in theaters or whatnot because it was so detrimental to possible relations.
Yeah, and
whatnot.
possible retaliation too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's.
Did you know that guy doesn't poop though?
Yeah, he doesn't have a butthole.
He just converts it all to energy.
Yeah.
These are all facts, everybody.
Yeah.
This is a Fact Friday. Everything we say is 100% unequivocally a fact.
Yeah.
Not question it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say. That was just like I remember that movie was supposed to be banned essentially. Well, although it ended up coming out, I think, early.
Yeah. Well,
Didn't it end up doing really well because it was supposed to be banned? It was like
Yeah.
the forbidden. We're like, oh my goodness, I can watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like games in Venezuela, there's got to be like an underground market for that. There has to be, and if there isn't, let's fly to Venezuela and start it.
Yeah, we could be game moguls in Venezuela.
Yeah, we could quit everything that we do for money now and just go there and become millionaires by letting people play video games.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Do you want to meet in Mammoth or Reno?
I'm booking the flights right now.
Okay.
Cool. All
I
right.
actually,
Well, I think, unless anybody has anything else to say, I think this has been episode 42 of General Nerdcast Fun Facts Friday with Taylor.
Yeah, I keep looking.
the only thing that I gotta say is, and this is for every country, it's a fucking video game. Like, there's literally been 0 studies that have proven any sort of link between what you do in a video game versus what you do in real life. Otherwise, I would probably be out in the mountains, real life Skyrimming, hunting deer.
Hunting deer and casting spells.
Oh, great! My niece is here. Perfect time to end for me.
All right.
Great.
Well,
This has been episode 42?
yes.
42.
42.
See you next Friday.
Bitches. No. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can always email us at generalnerdcast@gmail.com.
Dang it.
You can get a hold of us at Facebook with General Nerdcast. Twitter is at General Nerdcast.
Yeah.
We do have a Patreon page. If you want to help us out and maybe do more shows like this, get Taylor to Reno so we can all sit down in the same room.
Yeah.
And then we can all just do dumb things together instead of across the states.
We'll take pictures, post them on Instagram.
Yeah, we'll Instagram pictures. You can do that. Go to patreon.com, search General Nerdcast. We're on there. If you want to listen to us in the morning, have a great morning and rest of your day.
Yeah.
I got a burp. If you want to listen, to us in the
Afternoon.
thank you. I was like, what comes after morning? Then I hope you had a great morning, great breakfast, and great rest of your day. If it's just in the evening, do great things with your life. And don't listen to us while
You
you
can do anything you want
Yeah.
besides play a bad simulator out of Japan.
Yes. Yeah.
And then
Don't do that.
if you listen to us right before you go to bed, have a great night and sweet dreams.
Enjoy.
Babies.
Bye-bye.
Smooches. Bye, Ghost.
Bye.